Alright, today we're going to be drawing boxes in 1-point perspective. So you're going to need a ruler and a pencil and some type of eraser. I've got two pencils here, one's a number 2 and one's a darker pencil, but you can certainly get by with just the number 2. So I have a little abbreviation to help you remember how to do these, and that is FOBE, F-O-B-E. This is the procedure for drawing boxes in 1-point perspective. F stands for front, which is the first thing you're going to draw, the front of the box. O is for orthogonals, which are the diagonal sides of the box. And then the back. And the last step is erase, where we erase our extra orthogonals. So let's go ahead and draw a box. So I'll start with my ruler here. I've got a clear ruler with a grid on it, which is really useful for getting square, even things. I'm going to start by drawing a horizon line. If you're doing a lot of perspective, I recommend a clear gridded ruler like this. I'm doing my horizon line right in the middle of my paper. I generally want my horizon line to be in the center when I'm doing 1 and 2-point perspective, or pretty close to the center. The more it goes up or down, the weirder it's going to make things look. And I'm making my vanishing point right in the center as well. For 1-point perspective, I want my vanishing point to be near the center. The more it drifts out, the more we're going to want to use 2-point perspective. So here's our horizon and our vanishing point. And I'll go ahead and start drawing some boxes. So we'll start by drawing the front of the box. So with my gridded ruler, I can line up my grid with my horizon, get nice vertical lines. So the front of the box will be horizontal and vertical lines. So I've got my two vertical sides, and now I'm going to draw the bottom, the horizontal line, and the top. So it's important to remember with 1-point perspective that the front of the box that faces us and the back of the box will be drawn typically with horizontal and vertical lines. So next we'll draw orthogonals. So we're going to connect the corners of the box to the vanishing point. And we only need to do the ones that are visible. So since this box is up and to the right relative to the vanishing point, we'll see the bottom and the left sides of the box. So we only need to draw orthogonals from the corners that are at the bottom or the left. So the upper right one is neither bottom nor left, so it doesn't need an orthogonal connecting it. Now that'd be different if we were drawing a clear box. We might draw that orthogonal to show it. But in this case, and in most cases, we don't need to do that. So now I'm drawing the back. Again, this is going to be made of horizontal and vertical lines. And I can draw the back of my box anywhere I want. So I can start with a horizontal or vertical line placed anywhere I want, just depending on how far back I want the box to go. And then where the back hits that middle orthogonal, I'm going to draw the rest of the back. So either my horizontal or vertical line. In this case, I drew the horizontal first and then the vertical. So now I'm going back in and I'm darkening the lines of my box. So we can think of these initial lines, we want to draw lightly. They're sort of searching lines, and these are my drawing lines. And then the last step is the E, and that's the erase. I'm going to erase these orthogonals that are no longer part of the box. There's the back, and now erase. Alright, so any boxes that are in a corner like this are going to show the front of the box and two sides. If I have a box that is directly above or below the vanishing point, or directly to the right or the left, I'm only going to see one side of the box. So we'll draw this one above, and I'll start with the front. 2 vertical lines, then 2 horizontal lines. Next is the orthogonals. So again, since this is directly above the vanishing point, I only need to draw the bottom of the box. I don't need to draw either side. They won't be visible. So after I draw my orthogonals, then I'm going to draw the back. So all I need for the back in this case, since I only have one side, is a horizontal line. Again, I want to make sure that's parallel to the horizon. And then I'll erase my extra orthogonals. Now I may also, in some cases, have a box that is covering up the vanishing point. If the front of the box covers the vanishing point, I won't be able to see any sides. So that would look something like this. And if I drew the orthogonals in, they'd look like this. But I don't need to do that because the front of the box is blocking it. I can't see it. So the sides would go like this, but I don't need them, so I can erase them. I can also erase the horizon where it's covered up by the box. Alright, so let's talk about how we're going to shade these boxes. So we've got a light source that's coming from the right and up above. So that means that any surfaces that are to the left, facing left or facing down, are going to be dark. So I'm going to press pretty hard with my pencil here and use the side of my pencil. I'm not going as hard as possible, so I'm going to call this a medium dark tone. I want it to be lighter than a middle tone, or darker than a middle tone, but still have some darkness that I can add if I want to. So that'll be any side that's facing left or facing down. And then our side that's facing towards us is going to be a medium tone, because it's not facing the light directly, but it's also not facing away from the dark. So the front would be a medium tone, and the back would also be a medium tone. While I'm shading, I want to kind of follow the angle of the side. I kind of want to either draw straight with my strokes or maybe make them follow where the orthogonals would be. So a little bit of diagonal angle to my shading, depending on which side I'm working on. If I kind of shade in a way that follows the plane that I'm shading, it looks a little bit better. If you're going to shade, you might as well do it systematically, right? Then we'll draw one more box. We'll make this one down and to the left so that we can see the top and the right sides, which are going to be light colored because they're going to have the light hitting them directly, just to demonstrate kind of all the different levels of shading we're going to have on these boxes. And when I'm shading these boxes, I've got a flat surface, so the shading's not really going to change over the surface. So I want to have sort of flat shading going on. Again, to review the process, we start with the front, then we do the orthogonals. It's really important that I have my ruler touching the corner I'm drawing from and the vanishing point. I don't have to draw the orthogonal going all the way to the vanishing point, especially after I get some practice with this. But I do need to make sure that they're lined up and that it's going towards that vanishing point. You'll also notice that all of these boxes are sharing the same vanishing point because they're all in the same space and they're all lined up. They're facing the same direction. Alright, so there's the front, the orthogonals in the back. Now I'm going to darken the lines of my box, the edges. And when you do this, when you darken your box in, you can use your ruler if you want. That helps to get a straight line. It is a little bit tricky to get a totally accurate line placement with a ruler. It's easy to be just a little bit off. So you can either use the ruler or freehand it, depending on what you are more comfortable with or what works better for you. So my light is coming from up, above, and to the right. So the top of my box and the right side of my box are going to be very light. They're being hit directly by the light. Clean that up a little bit. And erase more orthogonals. See, I drew them all the way to the vanishing point, so now I have to erase this on top of this box here, which is a little messy. Would have preferred not to have to do that. And so for this box, I'm just going to shade the front because that's not receiving light directly, but it's also not in the full shadow. So I want a medium tone here. So you can see the right side and the upper side are light, the fronts are medium tone, and the lower and left sides are dark. And that's kind of how you shade all those boxes. And that is it. So your assignment will be to draw and shade 9 boxes in 1-point perspective. You can use the ones we've started with and add to them, and you need 9 total. I think 4 above, below, to the left, and to the right of the vanishing point, 4 in the corners, and 1 overlapping the vanishing point. And then shade them all consistently so that the faces that are facing the light are light, the faces that are away from the light are dark, and the faces that are being indirectly hit by the light are medium tone.